Okay, so finally, Q&A with Michelle, episode number 2. Let's not waste our time and let's jump right into it. What's the question number 1, Rahi?
Yes, so we start with the first question, that is, there is a lot of talk around choosing an occupation that you have some sort of passion for. Why do you think more people need to follow that advice?
The reason people need to start doing things that they have some sort of a passion for, because it is so hot outside. If they are doing something they do not have some genuine passion for, eventually you are going to quit, or at best you are just going to be creating a mediocre work. Let me give you an example. Okay, when I did my master's in professional accounting, I thought all my life that okay, accounting is something I really want to do for the rest of my life, because I was kind of interested in accounting. I used to teach my friends and other people in the university about the concepts of accounting. But then the moment I stepped into my university, day number 1, I just realized, okay, this is not something I really want to do for the rest of my life. I can't do this like 18 hours a day. I cannot do it 7 days a week. Right? So when you have that kind of a mindset around your work, there is a limit that after some limit you're going to stop growing. Okay, 90% of the times what really happens with all the university student is their education stops the moment they finish their education, right? But the real learning begins when you step into the workforce. Now, when I got my first job, there was sales and marketing, and I was doing only for the commission, right? So there was no base salary, there was no monthly income. My income, my remuneration is only predicated on how many sales I'm making, right? How many contacts I'm having on a daily basis. But the moment I stepped on the field, the moment I had my first conversation with my client, I just knew that, okay, this is what I really want to do for the rest of my life. Now, this is exactly like when you are in college and you meet this girl, right? And you have an infatuation for each other. So you really like someone, okay, you can have a one-night stand, okay, you can have a casual relationship. The moment you have an ugly argument with that person, you're gonna be looking for an out. But when you marry someone, there is a commitment for the entire lifetime. Right? You can still have a really ugly argument with that person, but you are always going to be with that person in health and sickness, right? Same way, if you're going to do something only because you have some sort of an interest in it, you're going to be slapped around. Okay, you're going to be pushed around by people because your employers eventually going to ask you to put in more work. They're going to ask you to work over the weekends. They're going to ask you to do things that you really, really don't want to do. But when you are doing something that you have all the passion in the world for, nobody needs to pay you for that. Right? Like, for example, when I started my first job, I did not care that how much I'm getting paid for, because I was just glad that I am putting in the work. I'm actually doing something that I'm really, really passionate about.
Okay, that's nice. As you spoke about rejection,
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the pressure and anxiety which comes with it?
Okay, so that's a really good question. Now, understand this, 90% of the people crack under pressure. It's got nothing to do with the pressure. It's about how you think about pressure, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you go to the gym and all you are doing, okay, you are lifting the light weights. Every time you go to the gym, you're not actually pushing yourself, you're not putting yourself under any kind of a pressure, okay? You keep lifting weight with 5 kilo every single day, you're not going to build muscle, right? The only time you're going to build any muscle or a mental callus in your mind is you are deliberately putting yourself under pressure, right? So every time I'm under pressure, I don't think that is a bad thing. People are going to do everything in their power to walk away from a pressurized situation because they think it's a bad thing, right? But actually you are building a perception around your work when you are under pressure, when you demand more out of yourself, when you are putting yourself into pressure, you're actually building a perception about your work. You are actually building your work identity. Once you know in your heart and soul you believe that pressure is not a bad thing, you don't have to deal with it. You just have to demand more out of yourself.
How do we stop worrying about people judging us and keep our focus on our goals?
Okay, so understand this. Anything that you're going to do in your life, people are going to judge you, right? Accept that fact. Even your mom and dad are going to judge you. That's given. Like for example, let's say that you work for a company, right? And your promotion is going to be predicated on the performance review from your managers. And what the performance review is, they're judging your work. They're judging what time you're showing up for work, how many breaks you are taking, how many leaves you are taking. But we don't have any problem with that because we are getting paid for it. We have a problem where our friends judge us because we are not making any money out of them, right? People are always going to judge you no matter what you do. But again, other people's opinion of you and the judgments about you doesn't have to be your reality. Just because your best friend thinks that the goal that you're going after is unrealistic doesn't mean jack shit. It is just his opinion, and just because he has an opinion doesn't have to be a reality of you. Just because your parents, your sister thinks that you are making a massive mistake to accepting this job offer doesn't mean anything. Just because you love them, you want to do great things for them, their opinion doesn't hold any value. It is just their opinion, and people are wrong about their judgments and the opinions all the time. So why do you want to pay too much heat to that opinion anyway? And let's say, let me tell you this. Let's say that you try something for the first time, right? And all of a sudden something really happened with the market and you've lost all your clients. You lost all your clients and you're not making any money out of it, right? 90% of the people who had an opinion about you, or people who actually supported you while you are going through while you're trying to sort of make your dream happen, 90% of the people are going to walk away from your life almost immediately. They're not going to pay your bills. And if they're not going to pay your bills, why do you want to listen to them? Right? So again, it's just their opinion. And just because they have an opinion, it doesn't have to be the supreme truth.
So, as I earlier mentioned about judging, with judging there comes a fear about facing people. So, how to be confident in front of the people and camera?
As I said in the last question, that when I was growing up, I was an awkward kid, right? It's not like I did not have a lot of opinion, but I was very shy and I was always introverted, right? So I would always keep my mouth shut, and so I had major anxiety around speaking in front of people. Okay, so even when I sort of stepped into the workforce, I kept my mouth shut and I just focused on things that I had to do. Because if I do that, I do not have to face anyone. I do not have to express my opinions and stuff like that. So when I started doing the camera thing, right, it was nerve-wracking in the beginning. It was upset. It was really nerve-wracking, and I was really worried about, okay, what's going to happen when my friend's going to watch that video, and what my parents are going to think about it. And I had sort of few people who really looked up to me at work. They are also on my Facebook, so I was worried about their opinions as well. But that's what I really had to do, right? I just couldn't wait at the time to be a rock star in front of the camera before I start putting up the videos out there. I needed the feedback, I needed the guidelines. I knew that I had major weaknesses around speaking in front of the camera, and I needed the honest feedback. So I started putting the stuff on the Facebook, even though it was like really imperfect. And I did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of takes. And still the criticism came, right? But again, you can't take those things personally. The only way you are going to get really good in front of the camera is by the repetition, right? You're just gonna have to take one day at a time and keep doing this thing. Keep talking in front of the camera. It doesn't have to be perfect, but keep doing it. It's it's not like that one day you're gonna get up and you just have this skill. You're just gonna have the confidence to speak in front of the camera. That can only be developed by the repetitions and repetition.
I would like to end this conversation with the last question. How to take an advantage of an opportunity when you don't know anything about it?
Okay, so again, that's a very good question. Now, here's the thing, right? Sometimes you're gonna have to commit first and figure things out later, right? Even though you do not have the answer at the time, you just commit. You say the word yes first, and then once you say yes, then do everything in your power to make sure that you deliver on that promise. Okay? Now, number two, if that's your permanent strategy, you're going to lose in the long run. Okay? What do we mean by that, right? If you are having a meeting with one of your prospective clients, you don't know anything about his history, you don't know anything about his goal, you do not know why they need to do business with you, what are the pain they're having in their lives, and your number one strategy is just to step in the meeting and figure it out while you are with them. Okay, if you don't do your homework, you are going to lose eventually. You are about to step into an interview, job interview, and you do not know anything about that company. Okay, the roles and the responsibilities of that company. Eventually, that company is not going to go ahead with you, right? So you have the future is always going to favor people who are prepared. So now that's the wrap for episode number 2. Q&A with Mishal. Now, guys, I'm really excited to bring this episode to you. Now, if you have any questions in regards to business, how to get the best out of the people, how to hire, how to fire, or how to deal with the stress and anxiety, you can ask me any questions that you want, or any problem that you're going through at this stage in your personal life, business life. Just put into the comment section, and I'm going to try and cover that in the next episode. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next time.